of Chicago Bulls Central and pregame show. Hopefully the Bulls don't get completely embarrassed and just dog walked out there today as the Bulls face the Golden State Warriors. We're going to break it all down, do a little pregame show. But first, we got to play that intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans, we in the building. Bulls versus Warriors going down today. A little over an hour and a half from now is when that game goes down. But this is going to be an interesting game from the Chicago Bulls. I presented it and talked about it over on Locked On Bulls in the sense of, hey, how much are we going to get beat by? But as we know with this Bulls team, they can look completely different and all of a sudden look like one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. So we'll see how the Bulls fare today against the Golden State Warriors. I think that if you're looking at this game and trying to just break it down from the standpoint, it can get really, really ugly, just in the sense that how the Golden State Warriors shoot the three ball and how the Bulls have allowed teams to just shoot damn near season highs on the three-point line against us. So Golden State Warriors have 3 or 4 players, I think, shooting over 40% from the three-point line. So that definitely can play into a lot of the Bulls' weaknesses, which would be crazy. It could get crazy. Now what Klay Thompson set a record for three-pointers made or something like that against us at one point. It got ugly. And hopefully we don't see that again. So, it kind of is what it is there. I'm not going to lie to you. This game, not that I'm afraid, because at the end of the day it is, if they lose, it ain't gonna change my life. But so I don't want to use I'm afraid of how bad it can get, because I don't think that's the correct wording. But this game can definitely get ugly real quick. And if it does get ugly real quick, Lord knows, y'all be prepared for Petty Roosevelt at the halftime hangout. This team is just, and that's one of the most frustrating things in this team. And I talked about it today, my takeaways from the Bulls' first quarter of the season so far. But it's just the lack of heart, man. If this team was losing games, but they were playing with some heart, it wouldn't feel as bad. You can make some, conversations and have some conversations and things around it. But, and I know a lot of Bulls fans too, we stick on the fact that, well, the Bulls have beat the better teams in the Eastern Conference so far this year. They're playing those teams closer, but it's this. They're still under 500. I don't give a damn if they beat all the top teams. They still wind up under 500. That shit don't mean nothing. So this team has a lot of growing pains, a lot of things that they need to figure the fuck out. I don't know if they do this season. But, I know a lot of people also like to make the comparison to the Boston Celtics last season, and that's just a completely different team. They have a completely different skill set. They had, even last season, this year, 2 young, two-way players on that team. And just the roster was way more balanced than what this one is. So, it is what it is. If the Bulls can be that team that just is a killer in the second half of the season, shout out to them for being able to do that. I wouldn't necessarily be hugely surprised if they are. Just turn that off. But, I guess we'll see. We'll see. Now, let's go ahead and get into the comments, see what you guys got to say heading into this game tonight. We hear, what's going on, TRG? What's going on, Markel? James Jameson, so what's up with this Lakers? Oh, it's nothing. That is, again, another speculative piece. That ain't shit. But, Bulls fans, especially that want to see the Bulls trade, they're going to bite it. And you know what Bulls fans do? Now that trade rumors come out, no matter what happens, you know what they're going to say? You know what? The Bulls need to do that Lakers trade. You know what we need? We need the Lakers too far. And it's just going to stay on that. The whole, some Bulls fans are worse than the national media with sticking to that. That is a completely unsubstantiated trade idea. It's not happening. I can guarantee it, it's not happening. Drew says, what up, Haize? Hope we catch a dub today. I hope so as well. Certification Poppy says the Lakers-Buck game is good so far. I'm actually watching the Lakers Brooklyn Nets game, mainly because I wanted to see how TJ Warren plays in this game. And he's hasn't played a lot of minutes so far. I don't know how many minutes. I don't have the box score up for it or anything. I know the Brooklyn Nets, the score, they're up 56-31. But I don't know how much points TJ Warren's put up, but he doesn't look as bad as I maybe thought he was going to look. is what I can say. Out of being out of basketball for as long as he's been out of it. Bulls Daily says, Haize, I'm actually scared for Shorty Nim. Don't be. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Thoughts of the Bulls sign Matt Ryan that the Lakers waived yesterday. He's a good three-point shooter. No. I like at this point, I understand, you want to look at every option, right? Especially because the Bulls are such at a deficit. But to me, I mean, it doesn't do much for the Chicago Bulls to me. He's 6'6". And yeah, he's a solid three-point shooter, but it's not like he's lights out or anything like that. Keep in mind, the Bulls also don't have an open roster spot. So that means we would have to cut Tony Bradley or something to make way for it. I mean, he doesn't get me excited. It just doesn't. I'd rather wait the buyout market, to be honest with you. Jorge Calderon says, can we get a 30-point Zach game? This could be his moment. Well, people said that against the Phoenix game too. At this point, I just want an efficient shooting night from Zach. I don't even care about the point output. I'm basically at the same point with Zach as I was with P. Will at one point in the season. Not to say that I expect way more from Zach, but I just want to let's get him to have a couple efficient shooting nights under his belt, and then let's worry about the 30-point plus games. I don't really care about the point total. Can we just get a solid game from Zach LaVine, shooting the ball efficiently, and we'll worry about the points later. That's how I feel about it. Shay, all jokes aside, we have to feed the ball into Vucevic. Who's Vucevic? Like, what are you doing here? Is that what you call your shoe? Vucevic? No, I know. I'm just fucking with you. As soon as the game starts, I suspect Golden State Warriors at the end of the day, they do have the size to bang down low with us. What? Down low with us? Yeah, I mean, to a degree, right? They don't have somebody like Vooch should be able to be stronger than everybody they're going to put in their front line and with them. But much like with everything else on this team, you can't bet on anything. So even with Vooch. And Bulls Daily says Zach can score 80. That'd be tough, bro. That'd be tough. That'd be tough to lose a game like that. Y'all was talking about Curry, Clay, and Wiggins, but Poole is the role player that could. That's, you know what? You hit the nail on the head there. It'll be Jordan Poole. It'll be Dante DiVincenzo. It'll be somebody like that completely kills the Bulls in this game. It won't, don't get me wrong, Clay and Steph are probably going to get their points too, but watch the Bulls get murdered, just completely murdered by somebody coming off the bench for them. I'm going to look at their roster real quick. So Dante DiVincenzo's definitely a chance. Jordan Poole's definitely a chance. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Kuminga just cooks the Bulls randomly. He only averages 6 points per game, but watch him go off for 22, right? Because that's what the Bulls do. They allow people with these wild shooting nights. Patrick Williams guards Andrew Wiggins, DeMar and Draymond Green, and Ayo Dosunmu pound the shit out. Whoa. Hey, leave your fantasies out of this, Shay. You got to leave your fantasies out of this. I don't think that's a pause moment if I've ever seen one. That's a pause-worthy moment there, brother. Ayo Dosunmu pound the shit out of Steph Curry. That's a hell of a line. That's a bar. That's a hell of a bar, bro. Why'd you go with that bar? But on Curry on the defensive end. The thing with Ayo Dosunmu, though, all jokes aside, is players that don't have to penetrate and that don't have to do a lot of dribbling. Ayo, those are difficult matchups for Ayo. Steph literally does not have to dribble, right? And those matchups tend to be a little bit more difficult for Ayo, but we'll see what Ayo can do. Markel, if the Bulls get blown out again, you got to let Petty out, free Petty. Petty's going to come when Petty comes. It has to be natural. Pidge, what you doing? I have my doubts, but I hope the Bulls eventually figure it out this season because it seems like the Lakers, Warriors, and Nets are starting to figure it out. It does seem that way. The Lakers still aren't a threat. They're not a threat to do much. What's up? What are you doing? I hate cats. I really do. We need to defend the three and come out with energy. If we get blown out, I'm going to take my frustration out on God of War. That's a good place to use to take the frustration out, though, brother. That's definitely a good place to take it out on. What up, Haize? What's going on, King Kofu? Vucevic has to look to go for 30 this game because even though Kevon Looney, I don't know, I was calling Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney is good. He can't really bang down low against a true low post threat. On top of that, he doesn't like to come out on the three. Good points. All good points there. JDH says, I'm nervous about this game. We must bounce back. I mean, this is going to be a game that's going to be tough. This is definitely going to be tough. Butovic. Hey, listen. Shay be killing words, man. Shay look the English language in the face and be like, bitch. Like, that's how he looks the English language in the face, even though that's a foreign name, but you know what I mean. AC on Curry 100%. Oh, for sure. For sure. Why are you asking me about Panther Designer's glasses? What that got to do with me? That ain't got nothing to do with what I got going on in life, man. We talking about this Bulls game. PB and Patch, big question here. What the Bulls are going to get today, the one who beat Miami and Celtics or the ones who lost to the Spurs and OKC? Who knows? It may not even matter. It may not even matter. Bulls Central going to the game. If we get blown out, fuck, Jamal's going to the game, that's a loss. The Bulls never win when Jamal goes to games. Never. Like, Jamal got to start taking one for the team. We're going to start needing Jamal to take one for the team and not go to any Bulls games. Every single time he goes to a Bulls game, the Bulls get their ass whooped. Go and look at it. Go and cross-reference his social media when he goes to games versus Bulls losses. You will see the overlap there on that Venn diagram is really big with Bulls blowouts. So, Reginald Short says Kerr's going to outcoach Billy tonight. Oh, that goes without saying. Billy Donovan gets outcoached quite often, but we got him locked in for several more years, whatever the fuck. You know what? That's another thing that's concerning. We don't even know how long that they re-signed him for. We just know several more years. Was it a 2-year extension, a 3-year extension, a 5-year extension? What was the extension? Do we have another half a decade left with Billy Donovan? Like, again, I'm over the fact that they extended. You want to extend him, that's your guy, fine. It is what it is there. But, like, we don't even know how long it's for. Tonight might be the night where that streak ends. Listen. Shout out to listen, if they can do it, then make it happen. But it's really not looking real good right now. I'm honestly hoping Dragic can pick up scoring-wise. Recently, he's been out of sync, but he can get back into rhythm. Yeah, he has been since the injury, and it happens. You know, I know we like to think of these players as robots, but they're not. Why doesn't KD just go ball? Like, KD's lining is almost worse than LeBron James at this point. Plus, KD just doesn't brush his hair. But nonetheless, looking at the Toronto Brooklyn game. But nonetheless, yeah, he is out of sync, and it seems Drummond too. Seemed like Drummond was out of sync there. It seems like he's worked himself back in, but he was out of sync when he initially returned too. So, you know, hopefully we do see that. I would say this, the way that Caruso's shooting now, the way that Kobe White has shot in a few games, you add Goran Dragic to that. If we can get a game with all of them shooting well off the bench, with Drummond cleaning up rebounds, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. This sucks. I'm 19. The Bulls are probably not winning the championship until I'm 40 at this rate. Let's hope it's before then. Let's hope it's before then, brother. Let's hope it's before then. I'm not fucking watching this game, bro. I'll be here for the halftime and post game, though. Hey, I've never understood that. I've never understood not watching. If that's your team, that's your team. It's going to be ugly. Even if it is ugly, maybe they need your support. Maybe they need your energy. You never know. I've never been one to tune away. Like I said before, I'm not as down on this team as some Bulls fans are. Not to say that I don't think they're in trouble. They're definitely in trouble if they can't right this ship. But there's been so much worse things that happen for the Chicago Bulls in this season. There have been such worse seasons than this. Like, yeah, it sucks that this team isn't playing with heart. That sucks completely. It sucks that this team has talent on it. Even regardless, we could talk about how the talent fits together all day and that they're struggling like this, but it is what it is, man. Certification Poppy says, clap it up for Billy Donovan with those several more years. I saw somebody in the chat said 4 years, but I haven't read that anywhere. I like the user that said 4 years. Drop a link to an article where you read that. Not to say I don't believe you, just to say I just want to kind of break it down. If you guys don't, If you don't know how I do stuff by now, kind of look at the article, see where things come from and how valid it is. But I would love to see that article if you have it. Markel says, Bulls need to hire you as a motivator after bad losses. They do that and we'll never lose. Oh, they wouldn't do that because the players would hate me. Like literally, like I'm sure I open hand smack Zach LaVine and watch him fall to the floor like a lightning. Let me stop. I need to stop, right? Because me doing the phone calls and shit, one of these days, one of these players, I'm going to have a connect, and they're not going to come on the show because they're going to be like, hey, you remember what you said about my wife on the show? Fuck, you right, man. All right, listen, I can't even blame you. Fucking cats, bro. I hate fucking cats. I hate this shit. I'm saying, where are you? Pigeon. I have no idea what's happening right now. The cat's stuck behind a wall. Anyway. Let's move on from that. I like Pat's idea of having a lineup of Gordon, Green, Io, Pat, and Dre to start the second. Listen. No, you don't like that. They're never gonna have a completely different lineup to start the second. It's just not. And even then, it really would depend upon the matchup. But no, that's just not what you do. That's not how you build continuity. It's not what you do. Now, I would like you. You can say that you want to see that lineup, but even then. Goran and Io with Green, Pat, and Dre, that's a lineup that doesn't have any outside of Pat, the percentage he hits it at, but that's a real shooting deprived lineup. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Crystal says Chicago Bulls win game. Crystal Hodges. What's going on, Crystal? Well, I'm glad that you have that we have you here, and hopefully you're right and they win this game. Billy Donovan's gone. Haize, I've been given my energy, man. They took my energy and tried to make Gums McGee the star with it. They didn't try to make Denzel Valentine the star. Come on now, bro. T-Mac, yo, Haize, keen for a wish, haha. Can already feel me throwing something at my TV today. Hey, listen, it's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. If this team doesn't consistently play with heart, do you think they should blow it up for what? No, I've said this before in a video, and I know some people disagree with that. You don't blow it up the year that you don't own your own pick outright. You just don't do that because the Bulls, especially with the luck that this team has, would blow it all up, and then they'd have, let's say they finish with the second worst record in the league. I guarantee you what will happen is that pick will be out the top four, and then all that tanking is for nothing. You make sure that you have complete control over your own first round pick. Now, something that they could do is they could make a trade with the Orlando Magic. I don't know what player they trade, and then they can part of that trade could be taken off the protections from that pick, but I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that that's likely to happen. Bulls Daily, it says, I feel like, how does Zach finesse? Like, this is the thing, right? And this isn't just against you, Bulls Daily, but sometimes as fans, especially with sports, we become gossipers. Like, in what way did he finesse us? For him to finesse us would mean that he had to hide something. We all knew he was going to have all-season surgery. They waited till after the surgery to sign him. There's going to be recovery time for surgery. Yet the team is in touch with his doctors. The only way that you can quote unquote finesse somebody is if Zach LaVine signed his contract extension and then said, "Oh, by the way, my knee hurts. I need surgery." That's a finesse, right? Everybody knew. Everybody knew it was in alignment that he was going to be getting the surgery this season. That's not a finesse move. When you look at Zach LaVine's lead up to this contract, he became a more efficient player every single season until that knee and back injury last season of being more efficient and scoring more points. That's not a finesse. The Bulls knew the risk of signing Zach LaVine. To me, that's not a finesse, right? I don't look at it that way. Now, if he hit it, that would be a finesse. If he hid the injury, That would be a finesse. Hey, Haize, have you watched Scary Movie with what? Come on, what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? The cats be watching every damn thing. Cats are literally the devil's plaything. AK said relationships win championship. The most stupid. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby girl. There's daddy's baby girl. You old weirdo cat. Go ahead. Wait, what are you doing? You're going to stop the stream. Fucking cats. But yeah, we'll see. I didn't hear him say that. That's crazy. The relationships win championships? That's a tough sell, fam. That's a tough sell for me. Can we be honest that every single time the Chicago Bulls have had success, even in the Michael Jordan years, we've always established ourselves as the defensive team throughout? Well, I think most, right? What's the last team to win a title that didn't ratchet it up defensively, at least when needed? Maybe they weren't in the top 10. Maybe they weren't one of the best defensive teams in the league. But every championship team has some consistency on the defensive end, or they have a player that they can send out there on the defense. But we know the Bulls are far from a championship team. We know they're far from a championship team. I know we used to joke about it, but this dressing room needs a Patrick Beverly, bro. Everyone is too buddy and nice to each other. They need a good shaking up. No, they need to hire me because I'll look Zach LaVine in his face and tell him, hey, you're playing like a bitch right now. JDH says, hey, briefly explain protected picks versus unprotected. All right, so the Bulls, for example, their pick this season, I got two examples. I can use both related to Bulls. The Bulls pick is top 4 protected, meaning that unless it falls in the top 4, which is weird. When's the last time you heard a team top 4? Most of the time, it's lottery protected, top 5 protected, top 10 protected. The top 4 protected, but anyway, sorry, that's a side note. So that means that if the Bulls go into the lottery, which the lottery is a chance, right? If their pick ends up dropping out of the top 4, the Orlando Magic get the pick. Another way to describe it is the Portland Trailblazers pick that the Bulls have. That's lottery protected. That's a little bit more straightforward of protection. That means that if the Portland Trailblazers make the playoffs, the Bulls get the pick. If they don't make the playoffs, the Pacers keep the pick. That's it. And protections can really be, it's a lot of weird things that you can do in protection. Some of it is more rare than others. But protection basically is just you basically say, if this second set of circumstances is met, you get the pick. If it's not met, we get to keep our own pick. I fear that this team will be like Lob City Clippers, can be very entertaining at times, but we'll never get any. Well, shit, this team ain't very entertaining. Like, that's one thing about this team. They're not even entertaining sometimes. Well, let's be clear here. If it wasn't for me being a diehard Chicago Bulls fan, the way that the Bulls run offense is boring. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's boring. Yeah, it's cool to see DeMar in the fourth especially get to cooking at times. Like, that can be really fun to watch. It's fun to see Zach LaVine when he gets in the shooting rotation of the dunks. It's fun to see this team in transition at times. But overall, the half-court offense that this team runs is predictable and boring. And that's why we're seeing them struggle the way that they have. PB and Pat says, when is the buyout market exactly date-wise? Well, technically the buyout market is anytime. Right? It's just that usually there's a buyout deadline that usually teams that were trying to try and trade players that didn't fit their roster, they knew they're not going to keep or something. They try to make trades, and then by that buyout deadline, they just go ahead and cut. So you see a lot of players waived all around the same time. The buyout deadline this season is March 1st. So that means anyone who wants to be bought out, and they want to be able to play in the playoffs for any new teams, they have to be bought out by March 1st. So, but technically, a player can be bought out at any point in the season. I would say Tony fleeced us before Zach. He tricked us by being 7 foot and useless. That's wild. That's wild. First of all, Bulls Daily, I'm going to give you one warning. Don't ever talk to me like that. Watch yourself, because Petty Roosevelt will come out. Secondly, Zach isn't playing like he doesn't care. He's not shooting. You can't, and that's the thing. I really doubt some people who actually watch the games, because Zach is hardly playing like he doesn't care. Now, Zach absolutely is playing with the lack of intensity. And the time he smiled on the sideline of the Pelicans game did piss me off. But Zach isn't playing like he just doesn't care out there. He's not. Part of Zach's recent struggles is that he forces shots because he's trying to get himself in rhythm. Zach is hardly playing like he doesn't care. That's literally one of those fan narratives that they say when they get upset by something. He's hardly playing like he doesn't care. Zach LaVine is passing the ball some of the best he's ever done in the facilitating standpoint. He's had some of the better defensive games in his career this season. Now, the last two have been complete shit, but Zach is hardly playing like he doesn't care at all. I can't get with that. He did say relationships win championships. Hope he doesn't run this continuity thing into the – listen, this continuity thing, this is the season of continuity. This is it. You can't talk about continuity no more. Your big three aren't playing well together. There's nothing that's benefited this team from continuity. We need talent on this team. So, Chris Carvino, I'm not riding the Bulls off just yet, as you shouldn't. As you shouldn't, right? As much as I talk about the fact that it's not likely – that this team is going to be the Boston Celtics of the last season, there's still that chance, right? You can't write a team off one quarter into the season. Now, I tell you what, we get 35 games into the season, at that point, you got to kind of just, the team is the team at that point. So, we'll see. Tyler says, hey, Haize, what's going on, Tyler? Billy Donovan's gum. No, Zach actually tries, but he just cannot hit shit most of the time. That's it. Like, his shot is just not falling. Sup, Haize? Good afternoon, sir. Let's hope the Bulls are competitive at the very least. Listen, from your mouth to God's ears there, brother. I looked back at last year's game, and we moved the ball a lot more early in the year, even when Zoe wasn't playing. So how come we don't share the ball and cut more? I have no idea. It's literally one of the most frustrating things. One of the most frustrating things of this team is just the lack of ball movement. And that's simple basketball. That's literally simple basketball. Simple. It doesn't take much with that. Did you notice that the opponents are hitting threes consistently? The Bulls rush shots and try to go shot to shot and play hero ball. Well, the Bulls have that problem with if it's threes or not. But I will say this. The Bulls, at times when they try to get out quick on offense, it's fine, right? It's fine to want to push the pace on offense. It's fine to do that. But when you try to push the pace and you don't have players that understand how to operate in space and use space to their advantage, all that shit don't even happen. Like, it's crazy. Brandon Peck says, guess what day it is, Haize? It's game day. You already know. That's why we're here. Billy did say the right things. We do want 7 players in double digits. Now we need a scheme. Well, that's the thing. He says the right things this team in general is a team full of people who say the right things. They always say the right things, but it rarely translates to being visible on the court. Right? Billy Donovan's been saying the right things since last season. Even when he was asked about drop coverage, he says that we're not supposed to be in drop coverage. People keep saying that we're playing drop coverage, but it's just Vooch not getting to his spot. But then, okay, why aren't you coaching him to do something different? Why are you coming up with a different scheme this year, right? You say you want a team that can have 5 to 7 players in double digits, but you don't run sets for anybody but DeMar and Zach for the most part, and Vooch occasionally. So Billy Donovan says the right things a lot. If you just listen to what Billy Donovan said, you would think that he's a coach that got it all figured out. But that shit don't ever translate to the damn basketball court. Ever. And that's an issue. Tyler says, this is very early for searching for players for the draft, but which players are you looking for that will help the team? I don't even start my draft coverage yet, mainly because we don't even know if the Bulls could possibly have no picks this draft. So I really don't start the draft coverage until I kind of get an idea of where the Bulls may be, which probably isn't going to happen anytime soon because this team is just so up and down and there's so many protections on picks. Any picks that we could have this season all have protections on it, right? Right now, the Portland Trailblazers was just like the number 2 or 3 team in the Western Conference like 2 weeks ago. Right now, the Portland Trailblazers are 10th. So right now, because I don't think play-in counts as lottery. So right now, unless the Portland Trailblazers make it out the play-in tournament, because that's where they would be, the Bulls aren't getting that pick. So it's as of right, the way things stand right now, the Bulls wouldn't have any picks in the draft. So it's kind of difficult for me to know where to start scouting at without that information. So this season may be a year that I really don't have those answers for you until maybe 2 weeks left in the season, just because of how up and down everything is. But I will say this, we're going to have the same draft coverage we had last summer. It's going to be heavy draft coverage. I'm going to cover a bunch of prospects. Last season, I covered 28 prospects. There are 30 picks in the first round. Out of the 28 prospects I covered, none of them are who the Bulls selected. So, I'll give you that in-depth coverage, but, it kind of is what it is there. Bulls losing by 20. Billy going to find more excuses to not have his team ready to play from the start. God damn, brother. That's deep. If our starters would just get out to a decent competitive start to every game, we would have a chance to win every game in the NBA. Well, the the intensity overall definitely needs to be something sustained. We haven't seen this team do that consistently. And when they usually play with heart, they're in games down the stretch. I don't know if they win most games, but they would be in a lot more. They've been in a lot this season too, but, Vaughn, assuming the Lakers trade rumor was a half-truth and it was Vooch and Caruso for Westbrook and the 27th pick, would you do it? I still wouldn't. No, I still wouldn't do that pick. I still wouldn't do it. Does it frustrate you when you see Vooch take threes and you see no one trying to get the rebound when he misses? Tired of seeing one guy rebounds and everyone, but see, that's the thing that I think that is a scheme thing. Because I think what we have is that Billy Donovan knows we don't have the best one-on-one defenders. So they're basically just not really trying on the offensive rebounding end because they want to get back and set up their defense. That's what I think. Again, not saying that I agree with it, not saying that's what I think they should be doing, but that's just how I've identified it and what I think that they're doing out there. That's a scheme thing. But yeah, it's it's not even just Vooch, right? It's sometimes when Zach takes threes, you'll see everybody running back and Vooch will be the only one down there fighting for a rebound. So we have been the best this season when we've rebounded as a team. But again, I understand not wanting to get cooked because you have such a weak defense at times that you want to get it set up. Why don't we run more off-ball screens? We only do pick and roll and everyone else just stands. Bro, that's the $1 million question. I wish somebody would ask Billy Donovan that on a press conference. I really wish that they would. Well, EJ Liddell is probably still going to be with the New Orleans Pelicans. McCord Maker, the fact that nobody's picked him up yet to a G League team, at least the last time I checked, is wild. Justin Lewis, the confidence that they have in Justin Lewis, he's definitely coming back on at least a two-way deal for sure. So that's kind of what my thoughts are on that. Certification Pappy says, we have no bigs. Why everyone keep trying to have us start Tony Bradley? Who said start Tony? Whoever says start Tony Bradley needs to get up out of here. They need to get out of here. Andre Drummond should kind of look at Feast in this game. Look to Feast in this game because even though James Wiseman is up and coming star, I don't think he's necessarily ready. Well, Wiseman isn't playing. Wiseman's down in the G League unless something's changed. Let me check real quick. I don't think Wiseman's going to be playing in this game. So, but we'll see. I just hope this game isn't a repeat of last year's Warriors-Bulls game where we got spanked on national TV. Well, keep in mind, that was the game that, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Zoe and LaVine go down in that game? Which is crazy. It's crazy that Tony Bradley's still on the team. No, not really. We got to stop acting like every team has end-of-bench guys that suck. Every single team in the NBA does. Tony Bradley's just that guy for us. And it's good that we don't see him that much, right? Is there a big man on the Windy City Bulls that can be brought up on this roster? I mean, yeah, his name's Kostas Antetokounmpo. But again, keep in mind, we don't have an open roster spot. And Kostas is a two-way player. and they're going to limit the games that he plays because he can only play in 15 NBA games a season. Oh, damn. I completely forgot about Marcos. I did the Billy Donovan. I completely forgot about Marko Simonovic. That's crazy. That's wild. You know, that's not true either. Because no, that wasn't true. We had a good start because of way weaker schedule. We also had a good start because even though our offense was simplistic, people really didn't. There was no tape on us. Lonzo Ball had us out in transition as well. The Bulls were a much better defensive team to start that season. It wasn't just because of injuries. Let's not take the Bulls' onus away in that matchup and take that stuff away from them. The Bulls played excellent. When you look at the defensive margins, how that fell off the face of the earth, when you look at how the Bulls got out in transitions, when you look at the turnover battles that we were winning, the Bulls did. It was more than just injuries in those games. The Bulls were outplaying teams in those games, but they were weaker teams. In that we did have some advantage of some injuries, but keep in mind too, the Bulls were still winning when we had Zach LaVine go down with COVID. When we lost DeMar to COVID, when we lost Vooch to COVID, we were still winning games. So even though teams did have injuries, the Bulls were still missing tons of players, and we had that next man up mentality. But I do think a new team coming together, even with a simplistic offense, it just wasn't a lot of tape for teams to understand on top of facing weaker competition. But it wasn't just because of injuries, because we had our own players out as well. It's funny because I was at the game. I convinced my dad to get those tickets. We paid about $500 a piece just to watch them get blown out by 40. That's crazy. That's wild. I feel sorry, bro. Like you should sue their ass for that. I don't think we can win consistently with players like Ayo and Patrick Williams that started. Looking at it objectively, we're just asking too much of second years guys. Something big we need. No, I got to disagree with you, JDH. We're not asking them to do much. That's part of the problem. When you look at we're not using them to their skill set. That's part of the problem. Not that they're not getting the touches. We're not getting them. We're not asking much of them, right? We're not asking much of them, and Patrick Williams, for one, at times doesn't stay engaged because he's not asked to do much. We can talk all day about Patrick Williams posting up in the corner, but guess what? He doesn't. If you look at the game and understand when design plays are run for players, Patrick Williams gets no plays designed for him. Now, he's taken the open shots that come to him a lot better this season. He hasn't been hitting them at a good clip lately. But I got to disagree with you there. I think if Ayo and Patrick Williams had more sets run for them, they'd be way more impactful. I said this before. I think I said it in a comment. When Patrick Williams has a usage rate of 16 and above, he averages almost 19 points, almost 6 assists, and almost 8 rebounds in those games. That's what you usually see from a 4th overall pick. I've said this before as well. Lauri Markkanen in his first 50 games got more shots than what Patrick Williams has in his first 100. Now, again, that's not all on the coaching staff. Some of that is on P. Will, but he just doesn't have the design plays for him. We are not allowing these players to develop. You can only develop so much without getting opportunity to have the ball in your hand. You can only develop so much. That is literally like asking somebody to learn how to play the saxophone, but you only let them touch the saxophone once every 10 days. And you got a recital at the 30th day. You can't do that. I use the saxophone because I play the sax. But you can learn some by watching. You can learn some by reading sheets of music. You can learn some, but guess what? Until you get the damn saxophone in your hands and you learn how to use that instrument, when you learn how to deal with the cramps in your fingers, when you learn that comes from playing, that comes from practicing, that comes from putting in that work. When you're asking players to develop, but they're not getting the ball, that's a difficult. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, but that's very difficult to do with the limited touches that those two players are getting. And we all knew coming into the season, part of the way that the Bulls could be better than last season, if they were going to be, is by Ayo, Patrick Williams, making some type of leaps and improvement. But you're not allowing them the chance to do that when you don't put the ball in their hands. Bro, I'm still laughing at you calling this. Oh, listen, that's crazy. I went back and listened to that this morning. I don't know why y'all deal with me. I've seen the Bulls play like they have with Zoe this season. Is there any player you can attribute that to the most? I feel like Io pushes the pace. They play better like that. I feel like Io and Zach at times have pushed the pace of this game. And depending on the other players that, like, when they push the pace with Drummond out there, when they push the pace with Javonte out there, no matter who's the one doing it, things happen. But you have to still move without the ball, right? That's the biggest thing with that. You still have to move without the ball. Dunce Mile says, Laurie looked like Dirk earlier. Now Utah coming back to earth. Yeah, and what we said it was going to happen. We definitely said that it was going to happen, that they were going to come back to earth at some point. Adrian, the designer, says, didn't expect Haize to play the sax. LO, it's a hard instrument. Shout out to you. I appreciate that. I play all three saxes. I play the tenor, the baritone, and the alto sax. I play all three of them. But yeah, I appreciate that. Prediction for you, Haize. Bulls win by 3. Zach and DeMar will combine for 60 points, and Alex Caruso will have a great game. Javonte Green plays more minutes. P. Will 14, 5, and 5. Listen, I would love to see Patrick Williams have that type of performance against this team. This is great and all, but Australia about to knock Argentina out with the World Cup. Thanks for coming. Football. I can't wait to watch football. Like, I can't wait. I love this World. This has been one of the best World Cups in God forever. Like, real talk, and not even because of USA. Like, because I don't root for USA. I didn't grow up in the USA, so it kind of is what it is there. But like, this World Cup has just been amazing. It's been bananas to watch. I know so many people who like have come on to soccer in the last few years and they're watching the World Cup, and I'm just like, hey, this is soccer. This is what it is. Football. I think the Bulls lack a scheme to set up their plays, and design plays are easier to stuff. A scheme allows you to run 3 plays out of a scheme, keeping the opposing team guessing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brendan Ojet, Bulls need to push the pace all the time. It helps them move without the ball and don't allow them to go against a set defense, especially for a team with a plethora of guards. You're right. Absolutely. That's why I say, like, while I fight back all the time against the people who say, oh, well, once Lonzo comes back, it's going to fix this team. It's not going to fix this team. But imagine Lonzo, with the chemistry Lonzo worked out with Derrick Jones Jr. as a backup center in pick and roll. Imagine that with Andre Drummond. Imagine a fast break with Goran Dragic and Lonzo Ball and like Javonte, Patrick Williams, like out Derrick Jones Jr. out there with, like, that would be a fun ass team to watch. So Bulls win by 6. Don't want to hear it. Easy dub. See red, bleed red, baby. Hey, somebody. Okay, by the way, I wanted to ask this. Somebody in one of the recent live streams mentioned like Bulls Blood Red or some type of podcast with blood in it. That was a Bulls podcast. They said I'd be pissed off by listening to it. I didn't remember to write down the name. What's that podcast? Somebody give me that again, please. Oh, one other thing. Bulls will lose the next 5 games. Oh, shit, bro. What the hell? I can't get with that. Next 5 games after this? Well, if that would be on par for the Bulls. They beat the Warriors and then lose. But after the Warriors, we got Sacramento, Washington, Dallas, Atlanta, New York, New York. Don't we do pretty good against Luka since he's been there? Or I'm tripping with that. Atlanta, I'm not really worried about Atlanta. I don't know why. The Washington game, we usually play Washington pretty close, but they can definitely eke that out. I doubt we lose the next 5 in a row, though. Come on, man. Don't wish that upon me. Bloody Horns podcast. That's what it is. All right, hold on. I don't try not to pick up my phone while I'm doing this, but I want to put this in so I don't forget, so I can get pissed off. Bam. All right, got it. I'll go listen to that at some point. D-Dub says, Haize, I'm so frustrated with Dalen Terry draft pick. It's hard to imagine that there wasn't a rim protector shooter available with that pick that could have helped and contributed this year. Well, they probably wouldn't have played, right? Because Walker Kessler was there. I can't remember. There's somebody else. There's some other players that went after, but I wouldn't be like, listen, I would not be mad at that only because they went and got a guy who literally is going to be able to fit on any roster, in any type of lineup, and he seems to be a baller. I've always said this. If you can avoid it, you don't fix. If you're a team that's a playoff team currently, you don't try to get your needs in the draft because that's where you want to go best player available, especially if you're not a lottery team, because you want to go whatever pick you think has the most upside. You want to try to fill your needs at that point through free agency. And I'm about to go look who went after where we picked. So after Dalen Terry, we're looking at Walker Kessler, who I already mentioned. Christian Coloco, I don't know how he's doing. I haven't really checked in on how he's doing for the Raptors too much. He cooked us one game though, right? I think he did play really good. Like he had like a game-winning block on DeMar or something like that. He definitely could have been that rim protector. EJ Liddell is not really a rim protector, but you guys know how I feel about EJ Liddell. Musa Diabate, he could have been one. I liked him a lot in the draft. But yeah, there really wasn't any rim protectors that went after Dalen Terry that are really playing amazing right now. Look, everybody I just named, I'd rather have Dalen Terry than. He's younger than all those players. He has more offensive upside and defensive versatility than those players. While, yeah, it sucks right now that we didn't get what we need for this team, the fact of the matter is, by the time Dalen Terry or any player out of this draft would have probably been a big part of our rotation, our roster is going to look completely different, in my opinion, right? That's not to say that my opinion holds any more weight than yours. I'm just saying what mine was. DeMar's game reminds me when Kobe explained the difference in getting his shots when Derek Fisher went down years ago instead of being able to get to his spot before touching the ball. That's a great point. Brendan L. Jet, Nikola Jokic wouldn't have played either. He's not playing either for the Miami Heat. So, yeah, he wouldn't have played either. Now, I will say this. I still think again, this is without seeing either player play a lot, I still would have gone Nikola Jokic over Dalen Terry. That's just my opinion. When you look at him, 6'11", 223 pounds, he can shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor, has a lot of length as well, that length that AK likes. I would have loved for the Bulls to draft Nikola Jokic, but again, he would not have been playing this season either. He would have been in the G League right now, just like Dalen Terry is. So far, Nikola Jokic, though, he's played in 10 games. He started 6 of those games. So he's still playing more than Dalen Terry, but he 6.5 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, 1 assist, no blocks, half a steal, shooting the ball 39% from the field. He wouldn't have been playing on this team. Billy Donovan would have sent his ass to the G League right away. Right away. Reginald Short says Kessler wouldn't have played ahead of AD or Vooch. That's what I was saying. Like, he still would have been down in the G League more than likely. I don't think that they would have trusted Walker Kessler to be. Walker Kessler's playing really good for the Jazz in his minutes off the bench, but I don't think this team and Billy Donovan would have necessarily trusted him to be what they needed. They probably would have still went out and got Drummond, and then, yeah, Walker Kessler wouldn't have been playing much. We need the GOAT Kofi Cockburn just playing. Listen, it fills me with no more joy than that. I kept telling people he is not an NBA player, and everybody kept fighting me. And then look, where is he now? Overseas, just like freaking Dwight Howard. That's it. Do you think Marco would be on this roster next season? I think there's still a chance. Yeah, listen, as we know, AK and Eversley, even if you look at AK's history, he really doesn't give up on young players that he drafts. He really tries to allow them time. I'm not saying he's going to get a second contract with the Bulls, but I do think that he's going to probably still be here for sure. Off topic, the Bulls logo. This is really only a few teams that have not changed their logo drastically. Have you ever wanted to see the Bulls make a big change to the Bulls logo? Just curious. I've never wanted to see them make a big change to the logo. I did want to see them do a different, like a completely different jersey design. I'm going to bring one up if I can find it. I don't know if I can. There used to be this jersey design that I was literally bat crap crazy for. I don't know if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I can't find it. It was this controversial name to say right now. It was a mock-up of Haize designing the Bulls jerseys. I can't find it. I used to have it bookmarked because I tried to make it in 2K once and I could never get it done the way that I wanted to get it done. But I did want to see the Bulls do something drastically different with their jerseys. But the Bulls logo is iconic to me. I don't think you change that. I read something one time where it's like, so the most iconic symbols in the world are the cross. Then I think next after that is the Batman sign, the Superman logo, and then it's like the Lakers, and then I know the Bulls are in the top 10, and that's most iconic designs in history. You don't change that. I don't want to see the Bulls change that. That's just me. And now I got it tattooed on me, so I definitely don't want to see them change the logo. I've literally waited to get the Bulls tattoo for most of my life because I'm like, the moment that I get a Bulls tattoo, they're gonna finally change the logo. I think the Bulls will pursue Seth Curry in free agency because of how bad we are at shooting. That man could get money. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. How about a new home floor design like the Knicks did with the I would love that. Like, I want to see the Bulls start getting a little bit more funky with things they do for the City Edition. Like, all these teams have alternate courts and things like that. The Bulls haven't done anything like that. But yeah, I would love to see the Bulls try to do something like that. I would love to see it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think that it ever will. I just don't think that it ever will happen. Like, this team is just so, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But hey, anything's possible. That's the thing. Anything is possible. It may not be likely, but anything is possible. I'm still trying to find those jerseys for y'all. Why didn't I have the website bookmarked anymore? Fucking trash. That's what it is. But nonetheless, I would say Eric Gordon, but then his contract would say otherwise. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that you can theoretically say that would help the Bulls a lot. Like, I would love Eric Gordon on this team, but the Bulls it's just if they're going to spend that money. It's if they're going to spend that money, and I don't know, and I can't trust that they will. But you never know, man. You just never know with this team. That's the thing that's frustrating. I'm gonna kill myself until I freaking find. There it goes. Boom! I found the jerseys. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm about to show y'all. Just had to keep playing with the keywords until I found them. So these were done hellas ago. This was literally years and probably 10 plus years ago that somebody did these mock-ups, and I always thought that these were just dope designs for Bulls jerseys, and we've just never done them. But here's the first one. I just think that that's just a dope ass design. I would like I want to see the Bulls thing. I would like I would like to see the Bulls, the word bull probably be more Chicago to kind of fill up that chest. But I love the look of this jersey. The red and gray scheme, there's not many teams doing red and gray schemes. Like, I really like that. And then here's the alternate version of that. Matter of fact, can anybody make these in 2K? If you can make these in 2K for the PS5, I'll pay you for it. These are some dope ass jerseys. I've always loved the look of these jerseys. This literally was hell as ago. But these jerseys are just fire to me. I would love to see the Bulls do something like this, like on a City Edition or something, just to mix it up. Whenever I think of Chicago, I think of black and white checkers on police hats. Okay. I always thought the White Sox Bulls mock-up that floated around Twitter. Oh, yeah, those were fire as well. Those were fire, too. I know I could find those pretty easily. I always thought those were fire. There's so many different versions of that, too. There are literally a bunch of different versions of that White Sox, Chicago Bulls mock-up thing. Here it goes right here. All right, we'll let that load up for a second. Oh, there it goes. That's just, and it doesn't have to have the White Sox logo on the pants. I don't like that. Still have the Bulls, but like that just looks dope. Like that's just a dope colorway. The dark gray like that. But then again, do those kind of look like Brooklyn Nets alternates at that point? On a sad note, we lost the voice of Batman. Yes, we lost a lot of losses. A lot of losses recently. Drew says, I feel like red and gold would be sharp. Never thought of that before. I don't know if y'all remember the green. Oh, I used to hate those. The St. Patrick's Day jersey, used to hate those. Haize, what do you think of the ridiculous bin? Oh, I did a whole episode on it. Go and listen to that. I broke that completely down. Jerseys, they look clean, no doubt. Looks like vampire teeth only. I think they're supposed to be horns upside down. So, which is weird enough. That's why I say I would rather have Chicago instead of Bulls on the chest of those jerseys, because I think it fills it up a little bit more. You don't have to do that weird shit with the horns upside down. The Chicago Bulls are the type of team that would sign Paul Millsap in order to save money. Absolutely. How we get this? Hey, Haize, what's your opinion on Black Panther 2 and the direction you see them going in Black Panther 3? Do you think they'll introduce Egyptian gods? What about Namor's future appearance? They have big plans for Namor. As far as Black Panther 2, I love the movie. I loved that final scene with the kid. I don't know if it's just because I'm a father. It made me tear up almost. But I don't know where they're going to go with Black Panther 3. I really don't know where they're going to go with Black Panther 3. I do like the fact that they didn't all of a sudden make Shuri like as good of a fighter as T'Challa or the Dora Milaje. But they could really go a lot of places. They're going to be another time leap, right? We don't know. Can you believe that Michael Jordan almost got his ass whooped? Oh, what are we talking about, Shay? What are we talking about, bro? I miss the old City Edition jersey. 2019 was the best to me. I've loved all the Bulls City Edition jerseys for the most part. There's some, of course, that I've liked more than others. But for the most part, I've really enjoyed most of our City Edition jerseys. There really hasn't been one yet that I thought was a complete miss. I thought this season's, when that leak first came out, I thought this season's City Edition jerseys were going to be a complete miss. But they ended up not being. Like seeing them with the shorts and then like hearing what the Municipal Y meant, and the fact that they went with that weird red color because there's a bridge, it's the rust of like the old city or whatever. It kind of brought it all home to me. I like the uniform together as a whole. It's still not one of my favorite, but you know, it is what it is there. Namor needs his own. They can't. His rights is so basically Namor is in the same situation as Hulk. They can't do a solo Namor movie. He always has to be part of an ensemble. So because of that, you'll probably never get that solo Namor show, unfortunately. How about the sleeve jerseys? Yeah. Oh, I hated the sleeve jerseys. I did like the gray sleeve jerseys that we had. I wish they would make just a sleeveless version of those jerseys. But overall, I did not care for the sleeve jerseys at all. They should have a jersey with the city skyline on it or something like that. Chicago's just so simplistic usually with stuff like that. I don't know if they'll do it, but we'll see. I love the black pinstripes. Oh, we still have that this year. The black jerseys with the whiter gray. I think they're kind of grayish pinstripes. They've worn it twice, I think, so far this season. I would love to see next season the city edition jerseys be the white version of that with red pinstripes. Like, can we get a white jersey with red pinstripes? Can we just do that? And I love how like the pinstripe jerseys now are like, they're not as like fat pinstripes as what they were back in the 90s. They're really subtle. Like sometimes you can't even notice that they have pinstripes on them unless the light catches them right. But I would love to see a white jersey with red pinstripes. Would love to see it. But all right, let's see what else. You know, I'm trying to do this more as far as for engagement. Let's do this. Let me switch this. Let's go here. What am I doing? All right, here we go. Lost my train of thought. By the way, thank you guys. Make sure you guys also hit the subscribe button, man. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, just make sure you guys do that as well. There you go. Just put a poll in there. Pinstripes is even more Chicago than checkers. Look it up. Chicago and Pittsburgh, only ones with checkers. Yeah, but I would like just the white jersey with the red pinstripes. I would love. Bulls Daily says, I wish D Rose come home, man. Tom not using him like he should. Yeah, the thing is, right? Every year that goes by, we get less and less that, and I do think Derrick Rose is at least at the very minimum he's going to do one of those like he signs the 1-day contract, so he technically retires as a Bull. But other than that, I just don't know if we ever see DeMar. If we ever see Derrick back in a Bulls jersey, I just don't know, man. I would love it. I just don't know. I don't like the wide stripe down the side of the city of the new cities. I don't mind it. It adds a little bit of flavor to it. But I get what you're saying. Like I said, jerseys alone, I don't like it, but I like it when it's the whole uniform, the jerseys with the shorts. I do like it that way. JC says, I got faith the Warriors will play like shit tonight. Hey, we catching the Warriors when they're finally starting to get it back together. I don't know if that's going to come true for you, brother. Haize, why do you think so many great teams, Miami, Philly, Golden State, are struggling this season? There's just more parity in the NBA. It's more parity in the NBA this season. It just is. Now, I do think it's different for each team. The Golden State Warriors, I just personally believe the Golden State Warriors are just a team that they know they can turn it on when they ever they want to. So they kind of, at the start of the season, the Golden State Warriors kind of just toy with their food. But I guarantee you, by the All-Star break, the Golden State Warriors are going to be firing on all cylinders, and we're going to forget the fact that we ever doubted them, right? The Miami Heat, I think it's a mixture of health and age there. I don't think they're ever going to be quite the team they were before. They missed their window. We already know with the Lakers, they suck ass. The Minnesota Timberwolves are struggling just because, again, that team just does not fit. This is why when people say the Twin Tower lineup, that like it just does not work, right? It just does not work. Other teams, Miami Heat, we already talked about. That's really it. Brooklyn Nets are starting to put it together. They're above 500 now. So I think everything's going to kind of figure out and settle where it's supposed to be. You're going to name your daughter Derrick Rose Robinson? Oh, you tripping, bro. You tripping. JC, I don't know what you're laughing at. D Rose has a $14 million team option that's not going to get picked up. If Shai doesn't re-sign Kobe or Green, I can see them re-signing Rose if he's cheap. Probably still not going to happen. Way too many guards. Way too many guards. Like, see, I know that we love Derrick Rose. I love Derrick Rose. I know what he means to this city. I know what he means to the franchise. Nobody can ever take that away. Derrick Rose was great. I would love to see him always be a Bull. But we don't need, like, adding another guard is the least of our fucking worries. If Javonte and Kobe White leave, okay, cool. Sign a true 3 and a true 4. I'm like, guard is not even nearly on my list to look at that point. Haize, if you could choose who you could bring in to help the Bulls, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Period. Now, I mean, if you're talking realistically, off the top of my head, I don't know. It depends on what are you trying to help? You trying to do 3-point shooting? I would love Jordan Poole. You trying to bring some more defensive intensity on the wing? I would love Jared Vanderbilt. You're trying to bring a mixture of the two? Maxi Kleber? Maybe? I don't know. There's a lot of players that I potentially like being on this Bulls team. It's just not realistic. D-Dub says, I'm surprised that Jordan Poole did not ask to get traded after the Drummond incident. It would be tough to sit on the bench together, sit in the locker room together after that incident. No. Listen, when you're a grown-ass man who just got paid and you know that you have the chance to be the face of that team in 2 or 3 years, you don't ask to be traded from that. Jordan Poole is going to be with the Golden State Warriors longer than Draymond Green will. And that's just what he needs to rest it on. Jordan Poole, I guarantee you, walked away from that situation realizing, hey, man, if anybody needs to ask for that trade, it's Draymond. I'm not going nowhere. Original Short, do you trust Zoe can stay healthy? Also, would you rather see on this team Giannis or Joel? What if Joel and Giannis decided to team up? That's a pipe dream. I don't know if the Bulls would be in position to offer them both contracts. I would have to go Giannis just because of the health aspect of it. Do I trust? Listen, Zoe can't even get healthy. I can't trust him to stay healthy right now. I'm not crazy. I've been saying for 2 years that we need white with red pinstripes. Completely agree. I would love to see a white City Edition jersey with red pinstripes. Just love to see it. Just take the black jersey currently that has pinstripes, do a color swap. There you go. That's your City Edition jersey. And then let's keep that for 2 years. Let's do a Miami Heat and just run it back. All right? The Bulls actually change their City Edition jerseys every year. Can we run a set back? Can we run it back? If we do that white with red pinstripe joint? All right, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. What else you guys got for me before we wrap it up today? Go ahead and get those questions, comments, anything in the chat, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up as we got about 30 minutes until tip-off. Shay, what if Patrick Williams goes off this game? If it doesn't come in and win, I don't give a shit. That's all I can say. If it doesn't come in and win, I don't care who goes off. I need a dub. That's what I need. I need a dub, especially on national TV. Can we get a goddamn dub? Thoughts on the Chris Paul, Kim K situation? That ain't got nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Your thoughts on P-Dub's last couple of games? He's been playing like shit. I mean, let's just be clear here. He's been shooting like shit. There are times where he tries to push the pace or do some things with the ball in his hand. He just got to wake up. Every player is going to go through a couple of cold games. I just hope this doesn't turn into – the thing I'll say with this, if P will play like this bad early in the season, I'd be so concerned because I'm like, I don't know if he's going to work himself out of this. This may completely shoot his confidence in the foot. Patrick Williams' has worked on his confidence a lot this season, so I'm not as concerned with the confidence in him getting back on track, but we can't keep having games like this for sure. Last year we played the Warriors on national TV. We got blown out, PTSD. Well, we lost Lonzo and Zach that game. So you expect to be blown out in that case. We lost Lonzo and Zach early in the game too. So, it kind of is what it is at that point. Keith says, all eyes on the Bulls tonight. Hopefully this don't end in a blowout. That will only add fuel to the trade rumors. Oh, if the Bulls get blown out again against the Warriors, I guarantee you, you're going to have the skies falling, Bulls fans. Oh, my God. You paid a player $215 million for back-to-back blowouts. Oh, my God. We need to trade everybody. Oh, my God. Can we trade Vooch for 2 second-round picks? Like, it's gonna be calamity. All in the comments if that happens. Reginald Short, do you ever think Kobe will be a consistent player? I think he'll be a consistent player. I don't know if he'll ever be a consistent shooter because those are two different things. What we're seeing from Kobe White at this point in the season is he's doing things more than just shooting finally in his career. He's passing the ball better. He's playing off the ball defense better. He's putting the ball on the floor and getting to the rim better. These are things that I think Kobe White can absolutely be consistent at. It just comes with effort. But I think Kobe's always going to be a streaky shooter. He's always going to be a streaky shooter. Bulls Daily. I would love to see the Bulls play with Chicago edge a little more, play with some pride. That the epitome of Chicago, if you ask. That's the epitome of Chicago, if you ask me. Agreed. That's why we love Javonte Green so much. It's why we love Nate Robinson the season he was here. It's why we love Joakim Noah so much. It's why we love Taj Gibson so much, right? We love players that play with edge and play with heart. We love teams that have heart. That's why we love the Baby Bulls era outside of the Baby Bulls, the Kurt Heinrich, Luau Deng, Ben Gordon version of the Bulls, because that team played with a lot of heart. We love players and teams that have a lot of heart. Alaikum assalam, brother. This is going to be a tough matchup. The Warriors are my second favorite team since I know they're going to bring a fight. Yeah, this is going to be a dogfight. That's it. Reginald Short, do you see Jones and Green being on the court at the same time? We've seen a lot of them being on the court at the same time. They still stagger their minutes some, but if we need some energy, I can absolutely see them being on the court at the same time. I trade Tony, not Marco, for Taj. You don't trade a player that young for a player that old, no matter what you think of them, right? No, you just don't do that. That's just not something that you do. But if they would take Tony Bradley for him, listen, if they would trade Tony Bradley for 12 Krispy Kreme donuts to give out in the UC to some fan, that's a positive trade in my opinion. Just my opinion. I could be wrong on that one. Yeah, Tony is 24, but Tony sucks. He sucks ass. He's not getting any minutes. He's not doing anything. Tony Bradley sucks. And I mean, you can say that, people could say that about Marco too, but guess what? I ain't never seen Tony Bradley drop 25 and 16 in the G League, and you never will. Marko Simonovic has way more potential upside than Tony Bradley ever will. But all right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We're still trying to get to our channel goal of 10,000 subscribers. So make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we're a little over 500 away from getting to the 10,000 subscriber goal. Me and Brandon L. Jett's birthday are Monday. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Subscribe for my birthday, if nothing else. But I will be back here at halftime. I'll see you guys there. Go Bulls. See Red. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.